I never dreamt that I would land an international client, much less a global superstar, just from creating content. Hi, my name is Dr. Savion Francis, and I'm the CEO of Musclecraft Physiotherapy Limited, located right here in Kingston, Jamaica. I'd like to share with you how a few years ago, I landed this megastar. I had just started creating content like everybody else because it was good for the visibility of my business. So I was on Instagram, I was on Facebook, I was on LinkedIn, and eventually I branched out to YouTube to create content centered around physiotherapy so that it would make my business more visible and people could learn also about how physiotherapy could help them. I also started a Google My Business page based on a recommendation from a friend of mine who had done it and it had helped her business. I'm no fancy content creator with all the high-tech gear. I just have my little iPhone and I have a tripod stand and I would make do. I eventually got some lights to help to uplift the lighting of my videos, right? So really and truly, I was not having the quality of videos that I would want to, as well as honestly, I was not posting as consistently as I'd like. But I took the advice of my business mentor who said to me that I needed to post. That's really just what I needed to do. Let's do it like Nike, right? So I did. And eventually, I got a message on my personal Instagram page and my business Instagram page a few years ago. When I read the message, this person who I'd never met before, and they were a little mysterious, right? There wasn't a lot on their page. They were asking me what my daily rate was and if I'd be available for a few days to treat a high-profile client who was coming to Jamaica and needed somebody on hand if they needed help. I was like, wow, this is weird to me, right? Because I'd never gotten a message like this before. But I spoke to my husband, I prayed about it, and I figured out what my daily rate is. And we made the connection. Of course, because it is the internet, I did my due diligence. I dug around and figured out who it was that I was speaking to, or at least close enough, which superstar we're dealing with, right? And based on that, I felt comfortable going. So I eventually got the confirmation call that I'm to come down to Montego Bay to start working. I packed my little suitcase and I headed down to Montego Bay and arrived at the hotel that they told me to come to. When I got to the front desk, they were like, wow, we didn't know that this person that we were expecting was a local, but congratulations. I said, oh, I wonder who it is, because up to this point, I still didn't know who I was going to be working for. But eventually, I met up with the team, and as suspected, it was a global superstar that I had done my research about based on everything that I saw. I did everything I was to do, and I had an amazing experience. But when the opportunity presented itself, I asked the person who made the initial contact, how did you find me? And they said they were looking for a physiotherapist who could do a specific thing that was located in Montego Bay, Jamaica. They typed it in Google, and even though my area of practice is in Kingston and St. Andrew and Portmore, Jamaica, based on my content and my postings, my search engine optimization was high, and therefore I and my practice showed up high for Montego Bay, even though I'm located in Kingston. And they reached out. They were confident. They liked the reviews that they saw, and they reached out to me. What am I saying to you? We need to be consistent. I'm telling you what my business mentor told me. And I've had my moments when I'm overwhelmed, I'm tired, I feel like I can't do it, I feel like I don't have the creativity. But we need to be consistent with or content. It makes a difference. It gives you a digital footprint. And if you keep it going, it will send people in your direction, the people who you want to connect with. The right clients for your business is all in your hands if you spend the time and effort to post. I'm going to post a picture here of my international superstar that I worked with, and I pray that this story will inspire you to keep going, to get it done, to not be swayed even if you don't have the latest iPhone or you just have a small tripod stand. But get it done, because it is the consistency and just doing it like Nike that will get you where you want to be.